It was a desire that I had while I was very, very little, and it's not so easy to stand boldly to aim at that profession to say you want to be a teacher. Growing up, I had a lot of banters, up to a point whereby that ambition was being questioned, was being challenged.
Growing up, your teacher will tell you, you're not expecting me, you'll be a teacher someday. Everybody will be like, God forbid.
Growing up, you may not really be able to tell when it comes to monetary value or the pocket of these people, right? I may not be able to tell, but growing up to becoming older, I got to understand that, okay, I think for status, I think for pay, it's not so big. Take, for example, a child who is from a very humble background, who suffered or went through hard times to rise, without settle for a profession or for a career that will still land them in poverty.
So welcome everyone. Good day to you, wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, however time you're watching us. My name is Patience and this is Parts Up. Welcome to Parts Up, where we gist, where we talk on educational stuff, where we talk on inspirational stuff, where we share videos on things that can inspire and motivate us. Today we're going to be having someone special. I would like you to introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
My name is Patience Bassey. I am also called Gyotefa. I'm a student of Unilag. I'm a 300 level student of early childhood education. I'm a teacher, an early years practitioner. I enjoy teaching, I enjoy working with children, and in the last 10 years I've worked with different children from different backgrounds. I've worked with little ones, I've worked with older ones. Like I've once taught chemistry because I had my NC in chemistry education.
Wow.
Yes. So I've worked with little learners, I've worked with older learners, like the students, right? So I'm a teacher, I'm a very happy teacher.
Happy teacher.
Yes, I'm a very happy teacher. I run a parent support group for parents where we help to provide experts, guidance, and helpful tips that would help them in their parenting journey, help them be supportive to their children's academics, and the goal is to raise wholesome children, like children that are balanced, right? I am a big fan of the collaborative effort of home and school, so I try to encourage parents as much as I can to be up on their toes when it comes to helping their children learn and grow. It's not just for the school. So I think that was what brought about the innovation and this parent support group that we have today. It's a free parent support group, actually.
Sorry to cut you before you give us all the tea. So we'd like to know, you've said a lot in your introduction, and that is a bag of introduction for a teacher. When someone tells you, I'm a teacher, I teach in secondary school. I'm a teacher, I teach in a primary school, and that's all. And she just said she's a teacher, and she has said a whole lot with it. Growing up, your teacher will tell you, you're not expecting me, you'll be a teacher someday. Everybody will be like, God forbid. Right. So how did it all start? How did you come to this point where you can proudly introduce yourself as a teacher and with accomplishment and things you are doing?
For me, it was not something I found myself like doing by mistake. Okay. Personally, I had always loved to be a teacher, even trace back to my primary school.
Wow.
Let me try to cast my mind back on this particular day. I think I was in basic 4 or 5. Our class teacher, Mr. Abayomi, then told us to stand, and he was asking different questions. Like, okay, I think he was asking, okay, what do you want to be when you grow up? You understand? And when it got to my turn, and I told the class that I wanted to teach, I wanted to be a teacher.
Wow.
It was like, wow, that's beautiful. So it was a desire that I had while I was very, very little. And I want to say a very big thank you to my dad, who really made this dream come to pass, because the truth about it is it's not so easy to stand boldly to say you want to be a teacher. Growing up, I had a lot of banters. In fact, let's say primary school was still a child's play, right? At that point when you are a child, you can always say, I want to be a lawyer today, tomorrow you say you want to be a doctor and the likes. But for me, it was teaching right from time, right? But it got to a point whereby that ambition was being questioned, was being challenged. When I started getting to that point where I wanted to really choose my career path, I became confused, because a very big part of me wants to do this teaching thing. But even people that I respected so much, I remember going to some of my, let's say, leaders back then, Okay, so I grew up in a church whereby we had youth leaders who were very, very keen and concerned about our growth and development, who were always there to stand as mentors to guide and support you get. So at that point, I was very confused. And to transition from JS3 to SS1, you have to move to either commercial, science, or arts class. Exactly. I think being a teacher also made me a storyteller. So if I'm not bothering you with this long, so at that point, destiny for destiny, you need to now pick which niche, commercial, art, or science. And I was so confused. So I told myself that as of then, I told myself that after we write this, there was this assessment we needed to do that was put together by the counseling unit of my school. To know and to give recommendation that okay, you should go to science, be here, okay, don't try this, your strength is not looking like it. And I was telling myself that the moment I get the results, whatever this thing says, I will, right? Because at that point I was beginning to pass through jesting and bad times for my friends. So but I was beginning to compromise because of my friends who usually laugh at me. Even teachers, adults, young ones. At that point, I began to say, okay, I want to be a doctor, okay, I want to be a pharmacy, but I was so confused from the inside.
Can we talk about the reason why no child will be seen as aiming high towards being a teacher? Teachers back then, there was nothing to be proud about. I mean, we only saw that, okay, yes, they had knowledge, okay, they know book and they're giving us book. But was there anything really that we look at them and say, I see this teacher, always dressing nice? Or I know those things that fancy children. I don't think there was really anything in those teachers that made people to want to. Could we say that could be the reason why people would not, or they will castigate to be a teacher? I mean, what is fancy about being a teacher?
I get that question. For me, let's say from my primary school setting, secondary school setting, I don't know why, but I had teachers that were like, I can still remember their name right now as I see. Yes, because I really loved, I think for passion is always it. But maybe growing up, you may not really be able to tell when it comes to monetary value or the pocket of these people, right? I may not be able to tell, but growing up to becoming older, I got to understand that, okay, I think for status, I think for pay, it's not so there. The truth about it is that a lot of people would bury passion and go for the money. Yes, a lot of people, and I do not blame them. Take for example a child who is from a very humble background, who suffered or went through hard times to rise, without settle for a profession or for a career that would still land them in poverty. Do you understand? So I knew that was a fear. I knew that was one of the traits. So right from the time I knew I wanted to do it, I started telling myself, I know that there are greener pastures everywhere, and even in this teaching profession. And me, I will eat the good. Everybody were actually saying the bad side, which is so true. Right? But something inside me just make me feel like there is more to this thing. There is more to this thing than these peanuts that people are being paid. And I think it was that interest that kept me on my toe. So I know I am a teacher, and teaching profession is almost always likened to poverty. I will not be a poverty street. It is like, so I carry it like that. I put in the so the mindset. I put in the work. I take programs that will help me upskill. I do things that would help me be like, I understand that the profession is populated. So what do I need to climb the rise? I need something that will make me stand out, right? People don't want to go for it because of the obvious financial status of teacher. I get to say that it's not true. Now, I have a community of teachers who are doing beautifully well. Come on, like I have teachers who are earning in 7 figures. Like, so tell me, it is just the mindset, right? Mindset is everything. Mindset is everything, and the vision is everything. Who do you actually see yourself to be?
So, are you a student out there, a child, you want to be a teacher, and you are facing challenges? Change your mindset. Have the right mindset. Or are you even a teacher and you are just there because you feel like there's no data, you can just manage the teaching profession? Change your mindset. You can get something good from teaching. So, how did you finally scale up? Where was the point you got confidence? Like, yes, you were talking about picking arts or science. Which one did you later pick, and when did you now stand your ground?
Well, I think I got more confused after that assessment. Because while I got my results, the counselor told me that, Patience, you can do well, either science, either arts, either commercial. And that was a full-blown So I feel like maybe they were just trying to see the academic strengths, and we always know that science students are always very brilliant. Because you have to do chemical, you have to cram, you have to balance, you have to do. Do you understand? There is this hype that they give to these people. So naturally, when they see children who are smart, if you say I'm in arts class, look at it like, Mowe, they see them like that. Do you understand? So it got me so confused, and I think because of the popular motive that people had about science being brilliant and teachers being just there, I just said, okay, I think I will look on science. Maybe I'll go to school to study pharmacy. I'll do so. Honestly, that was it. I began to tell my friends, oh, what do you, oh, pharmacy, oh, else pharmacy, at least. So, there was a point that I could not just face the questions of the large number of people out there who would crucify the teaching profession. So I had to hide my ears. I had to go for something, because I think I was at a point picking up in my chemistry in secondary school. That was even what drove me to study chemistry in science for my NC, right? So at that point, I was like, okay, so getting out from secondary school to teaching in school. And before I worked with the owner of the school, looked at me and said, Patience, it was just almost immediately after I dropped my pen as writing my WAEC.
Oh wow!
That yes, I started teaching. Okay,
oh, wow.
So, okay. I think it was a new school. It started.
Was it the idea of keeping yourself busy?
Just keeping myself busy. Actually, I didn't want to be like yes, I didn't want to be unengaged. Yes, so I just said, okay. So she looked at me and she was like, Patience, you have this very keen interest and passion for teaching, and I think, do you really love to teach? Yes. She was like, okay, go to SC, go and collect the form, go and start their program. It was just like a play. Yes, it was just like a play. It was just like a joke. And I think for finance was not really forthcoming so well. So I had this fear of, how will I keep up if I gain admission now? Am I sure I really want to gain admission? And then it was like, okay, if I do part time, I would be able to work and school. So that was where the idea came from. So almost immediately I started that, and part time as a teacher. As a teacher in training, right? For my NC, it was for 4 years. But before I concluded that program, I already picked interest in early childhood education. Because
so now you had a niche.
Yes, now I had a niche. Apart from, as of then, I was still teaching chemistry. As of then, I was running my NC program, because I was still teaching practically in the school. Like, okay, then Friday, Saturday, Sundays, I go for school, right? So as of that point, I was able to discover an interest. Then I was able to niche down to early childhood education, attending conferences, meeting other teachers, made me exposed in a way, right? So I was able to pick, okay, early childhood education, I think I would like to do my degree in this, right? Yeah, so I started taking crash programs, EYFS. It was like I was just playing, but I feel like
just feeding your interest.
Yes, I was just feeding my interest. I was just having fun. I even remembered a colleague telling me, Patience, you see this niche that you have filled for chemistry is a very uncommon one for females, and I feel you will do well here. Just make sure you master this chemistry. If you can link it up with physics, like we find more of male teachers out there doing this combination or doing this subject compared to females, right? So it was even encouraging me to take a niche down there that I would do. At a point, I just made that this wasn't my thing. I actually graduated with a distinction in chemistry education. So I was one of the best in my department then. But for interest, I really knew that I think early childhood, and it was not making sense to them. Whenever people hear me talk about, okay, I teach which, even personally, before I got there, I feel like teachers will take that level of they're not really they don't know so much. Maybe they cannot solve complex mathematics.
They cannot children.
Yeah, that children. That means you are this dull. That's why, like, the class teachers according to their IQ. Okay, you are this dull. That's why it's only ABC you can teach. So it was my thoughts too. But before you know it, exposure and community actually helped me, right? After finding that interest, I didn't just stay there to say, okay, I'm now here chemistry. That finding interest in early childhood education still made me sought for more. That was why after completing a whole 4 years program, I could still go back to school to start from 100 level. Yes.
So two things. Are we complete to say that's you said it, someone you went to work in at school, right?
Yeah.
Could we say she was God sent? Because I feel like it was like a catch them early something. If you were not caught that early, maybe you would have mingled with your friends, your colleagues,
transitioned.
You have entered school, and during that process, your mind will have changed, or maybe you have even gone to chemistry and been a chemistry teacher or something. So could you say that she had a part?
Yeah. So I acknowledge the what's it called now? The contribution of this woman of our organization, of the director of the school, then TTB Foundation. I don't know if the name has changed. Mr. and Mrs. Oluwadia. That was, it's not so easy being an expert in the field today. It's not so easy to sit people for interview and hear that they have zero knowledge and you employ them. And because I understood how I grew in the profession, when I see young ones who are just finishing secondary school, I'm not just trying to find fittings for their life, especially if I see that, okay, you are just here because, okay, you don't want to be idle, you just want to make some change. The thing is interest. Are you interested to give it your best while you are here? I owe it to these people. Like, they really invested in me. They believed in me. Into FCT Akoka to study chemistry education was a push, and it was another channel that led me into where I find fulfillment today, right? So So Mr. and Mrs. Oluwadia of TTB Foundation,
Thank you so much for the
we
push.
invested in this girl, and
For the
look at,
push.
this is where I am today. And of course, it's still a journey, because I believe that there are still there are still better things out there to explore, even in this world of teaching and education.
Can you tell me, at that point, how could you rate your relationship with God then? Were you a youth that found God early, or it was later in life, or you really, like, you had an intentional relationship at that period?
Okay, so I was raised in a Christian home, right?
Yeah.
And I was raised to also go to church with my parents. So let's say that from my very innocent periods in life, I got exposed to God. You get, I didn't have this personal relationship with God. Even growing up in that setting, I still had a lot of shortcomings to know that this is wrong, that I still do, right? So thankfully, I found God early, like not early like a child, but during my teenage years, I found God, and it was a big part of my living. Like, I understood quickly in life the part of God leading you, and the part of God directing you, and the part of me living for who God wants me to be, right? So I found that part of purpose really early, and that was just it for me. Like, I didn't really mind anymore. People that I respected who were teachers, I went to them at that point when I was confused.
Also discourage you.
If I ever hear you say you are going to school to read NC, I knew somebody that told me that. Yes, draw your 2 ears and listen to me. You have not done any admission, no. You are just joking. When you are ready, you will come back. They talk from a place of concern and love,
because they know what they are going through.
I understood the point of concern that these people were talking from. Some said, my friend read NC. From NC, she went to her husband, and up till today, she's still earning 10,000 naira. She's so old, raising how many children. She has not been able to go back to school. Oh God, I want to prove this. I want you to use my life to prove these people wrong, right? So it was enough to drive me. It was enough to put me on my toe. So after I finished NC, I didn't want to even hear marriage what? Like, it was not in my plan. This degree, I will read it. Say, you think I want to fulfill the prophecy of people that said I will do NC and go to husband house, and after going to husband house, they used to go to school again, they used to now read book after. No, it was one of the things that kept me on my toe with God, that God, you have called me to this place, and I know that I will eat the good of the land. Like, it was, so I knew that it was no longer a me thing now. It was no longer a people said thing now. It was me begging God at every point of my journey, like, God, this is what I want to do. To lay emphasis on having God on our journey, because I remember when I finished my NCE program, as of then I finished 4 years. 4 years. I wanted to do my degree, and I sensed that part-time results would not always be released early, or they could be delayed. So I didn't want to delay. I wanted to do JAM, go to school again. Then I knew that I didn't want to leave Lagos. I would do my degree in Unilag here, just not too far from my NCE school, you get. So as of that point, I knew I needed my O-level. The O-level result I had were 2 sittings, but Unilag would only accept one sitting. So I needed to take.
I know that.
Yeah, so it was really that would have been it was. I had a method. That's one thing. When if you have a goal in life, your strong why actually keeps you. Why are you doing this? If you don't have a strong why, you will teach today. Tomorrow, when your boss talks to you anyhow, you will sit down. Or when your colleague laugh at you, you will sit down. So I think I had a strong why of fulfilling purpose. Even if everybody laughs at me and I fulfill purpose, I didn't even mind if I would be broke. Even though I knew that there was something better, right? But that fulfilling purpose was one. Then having to now encounter challenges of, imagine me as a full-blown adult or semi-adult. Finishing NC and going to wear school uniform to write, right? It was only purpose that yes, it was only purpose. It was a challenging period. Like, I went back to school to meet 14-year-old children. Each time I look back, I laugh. But I'm just trying to stress this because as of that time, I was still doing all these things to come to Unilag to study chemistry education. It was my plan that, because I checked that for early child education requirements. Yes, I saw that I must have art background, art combination, and I asked myself.
You did science.
When I did science, and I asked myself, how do I want to navigate at this old age? I should go and start using my head to read book of art. Come and read, and no, I don't think I can do this. I just told myself that I feel like in life today there is something called diversity. I can always diversify. I can always take crash programs that relate to, even though this is what I want to do. I'll practice it. I'll read chemistry. When I finish reading my chemistry for 4 years, yes, like even as I do it, as I run my chemistry program in Unilag, I'll attend seminars, I'll attend conferences, I'll attend with all these organizations. I'll give me internationally recognized certificates, and I'll give me exposure. Do you understand? That was the plan, but God was still looking at me like this. So at that point when I wrote JAM, I wrote WAEC, and I had field chemistry education, everything. I did awaiting results for my JAM, and results came out. Guess what? My physics was an E8. Everything settled, physics E8. That was still, I saw my result, I was in tears. Like, have I wasted my whole year again? And somehow God still reminded me that okay, he used somebody actually say that, but because that person told me as of that time that Patience, I feel like don't settle for chemistry education because what you want is not forthcoming. Even if it takes you years to go for what you want, go for it. In my mind, I said okay. It was a friend. I said okay, but in my mind, now waiting I won't do, I will still do. Do you understand? But at that point of saying that result, I knew nobody can, not give me admission for chemistry education because there is a close relationship between chemistry and physics, and for a science student, it must be complete. It was an E8.
Wow.
So at that point, I remembered, and the person came back and I told, this is where I am. The person was like, go to Unilag with your result, go to early childhood education faculty, department, show them this result, ask them if you can use it to run this program. That was what I did. And they were like, a very beautiful result. Please come.
Imagine, can you see the result that is not beautiful for chemistry?
Honestly,
beautiful for early childhood.
And you see, early childhood education, the level of competition for early childhood education as of then, like compared to now, like the quest for it has increased. As of then, it was still one of the hottest courses in education actually in this in our school, right? Because cutoff was so high and the likes, and because I was aiming for something science, so my hopes too were high, my level of preparation too were like that. Thankfully, God granted me the privilege to do early childhood education with Unilag, and looking at all the old rough times, ups and downs I had in my journey to fulfill purpose, I saw that every mistake, every tears, every delayed journey, because sometimes I sit to and say that, why on earth did I go to read 4 years course and I came back again to read another 4 years course, and school is joking with me. Strike. Oh no, I started this all academic journey since 2016. This is 2025. It's almost 10 years, like a decade. Almost a decade. But honestly, looking at it today, no regrets. When I feel like I wasted time, every day I see reasons why I thank God. God, thank you for allowing me to go through this journey.
I feel like God would know about it. God would know that you won't get early childhood. Yes, it would look like delay and all that, but I feel like God
had a hand.
That should have been the process all through. That's why He had picked you early, immediately after WAEC.
So say okay,
kick off.
So today when I talk about maybe my level of experience, I've been teaching since 2015, and I say okay, I have about a decade teaching experience. Like people look at me and they're like, how old is this? I just know that.
Yes, when you tell you are you 30 years old? Like are you 35? When did this start?
Yes, but it's all making sense today, and that's actually the place of you allowing God in your journey. Yes, because the thing is, life is actually spiritual. We may not know it entirely now.
Allow God in your journey.
Yes, so having God in your journey just make things pretty easy for you. So today when I sit, I don't get to talk too much. By God's grace, like results, there are results that speak.
Speaking of results,
there are results that speak. Even when I'm quiet, there are results that speak. So as teachers, I know that a lot of people look down on this profession, but you and I are the ones that would carry you need to carry yourself the way you think you are, the way you want to be carried, and do not settle for less. Out of your quest for knowledge, that course you are take relevant courses, the courses you are paying for, this one you are doing, looking at it all, it pays off, because when you're getting this recommendation and maybe people are looking at it, you're too young for this, and they ask a question. So recently I had a kind of question like that. Okay, so what certification do you have? Do you have any sort of certification? And I just looked. I just asked, should I talk? I was just humble. Should we talk? Okay, let me just give people less than one paragraph. I replied, okay, so I have a certificate from the University of Buckingham in education. I have this, just something very brief. The person who was employed was like, thank you very much. And immediately, almost immediately, we sealed the deal, right? So when you are paying for, what distinguishes you as a teacher from the crowd is what you know. And in this part of the world, they want tally, they want certificate. So you go for it. Go for things that are relevant to your niche, and ensure that you stay competitive, because the world generally is dangerously competitive. Tech wants to eliminate every sector, so that they say, AI will take over this, AI will take robots will start doing this, but it is only a creative teacher that would last. That would last, right? So being a teacher should not subject you to poverty.
People eat all money. They don't have money.
And they have children. You teach their children, they can't pay you that peanut
at all. So position yourself.
Positioning is everything.
Because I have teachers that's even me just starting because I know that I have more more than them. But these people, it will be as if you can say they have more knowledge than you. Then what
is stopping them?
Is positioning.
Yeah,
They've
positioning
not seen the reason to position themselves. And I think when you hold something in prestige, that's another thing. You feel like, teacher, don't look down on yourself. Once you start looking at yourself, you will not see a reason to put yourself.
Yeah.
It's just like you're in an event and everybody is wearing, okay, let's say Ashrabi now, and you just want something like you not sit at that table. If I go there now,
yeah,
have you gone there and sat
yeah, and funny how your attire may even be more expensive than theirs.
So
but then, yeah, so
yes,
humans have this tendency to want to look down on themselves, especially teachers, and it limits them. You want to try new things, you're like, if I try, will it work? Yeah, a lot of us just want to be lazy and complacent. Actually, you are the problem. Let's start from that. You are the problem actually, because you want to be lazy and complacent. You know that you already know the tactics of this school where you are. You don't want to go out there. There are other schools that that will stretch you and that will add value in you, that will pay you more, that will pay you more. But you want to the angel I know, how did they say that thing?
The devil I
know is that yes, those things are true. But can you stretch yourself? Can you permit yourself to be stretched?
How many teachers really want to stretch themselves?
A lot of teachers just want to fold their arm. In this school now, if you come late, they already know you. You just want to stay in your comfort zone, and that is not where you should be. Everybody aims to get better. That is what actually fetches you more money. When you grow, you should also your pocket should get that's the truth.
If you're getting better, money should come to the pockets.
Yeah. So and it is the value. When you grow in knowledge, you give more value, and the more value you have, the more money you get. That is just the tactic. Yeah. So if you're a teacher out there, you are frustrated in the profession, ask yourself, are you lazy? If yes, then sit up. If no, then try to figure out what the problem is. You're probably not positioning yourself well. You're probably not pricing yourself. You're looking down on yourself. That is why when you get new clients that have the potential to pay you 100,000 naira, you tell them to pay you. If I tell them 50 now, when they run away, okay, let's start with 40. And everybody wants to manage their money. Everybody wants to manage their money, so they would say, okay, this girl is good, though. Tomorrow they will add 5k, and you see, you are happy. You are happy. Meanwhile, if you had moved for that same price, the worst is that they will say, sorry, we cannot afford it, and they will let you go, or they will sorry, please, can you please? They will not be the one begging. Can you please help us manage it?
You know your worth.
Yes, do you understand? Yes. And you tell yourself, if I was able to go from, that's what I tell myself, if I was able to go from 10k to 20k to 50k, that means I can do 100k. So okay, what can I do to attract this client that will give me? Yes, I targeted 100k, but I got 80. Okay, I moved from 50 to 80. If I could do 80, then I can do this. The moment you add the one they give you from your regular 8 to 4, you add it to the ones that you are getting, you see that you are already doing that, you are earning better, and the better life is actually what I want for teachers out there. So please, I beg you need to upgrade yourself. You need to upskill. Yes, and you need to position yourself, because position is everything.
Thank you so much. So 2 things to wrap it up. We're going to talk about the results. We're going to tell us some of the things you're working on or you have done that could be beneficial to teachers out there. And they're going to give an advice to students. And probably the person wants to go for teaching, or the person is considering it, because you rarely see those that want to go for teaching these days. I mean, the factors that are discouraging them are so many. Especially in the social media age. That's it just don't know like you have low, you have money. Who wants to be in a classroom and start?
Trust me.
So advise that young student. And
I think he even had a play in the results of JAM this year. Because come on, an 18-year-old child, an 18-year-old boy or girl can foot bills that people that are working class cannot foot. So what are you saying? So a lot of people they do not really see the essence to actually go to school. They don't know a student out there, and you truly feel like you want to teach, or you have this deep sense of fulfillment when you teach, then I feel like you would want to, one, really sit yourself and ask yourself, why do I want to do this? Who do I want to teach? You may not get your entire clarity at once. Like I did not get mine at once. It was from making mistakes, taking those baby steps that eventually got me to where I am today. And trust me, I'm not still there. It's still a journey. Like I mentioned, I'm a 300 level student of Unilag. So trust me, I still have goals for the next 5 years, for the next 2 years. And as a student, you can always pick up from where you are today. If you are in the university about to wrap up your program, or you're just looking into go to school to study, then you want to look out for the reason why you want to teach. Passion is very, very important. At the same time, the goal is to turn your passion into profit.
That's it. Passion into profit.
The way you can turn your passion into profit is when you have what people out there do not have. And I feel like children or youngsters of this generation they have more privileges. Like we're exposed to tech, we're exposed to a lot of things that we can implement and bring in to make teaching, yes, to make teaching so beautiful. The moment you begin to give what other people cannot give, it is not this in life. It's not so much about years of experience anymore. If you see an 18-year-old boy who would help your school, who would help your school scale up or help you realize getting more pupils, more students into your school, you will bring that boy's innovation in. You don't need to. It doesn't need to be 35 years old. So it's not a function of age, it's a function of what you know. Yes. Also, you will have to answer a lot of questions. I know a friend today,
a whole lot of them.
I know a friend today who recently came in to write, I think, her PGD exam, something like that. She was switching from English to education. She just has this. She loves to teach, but her parents today are not happy with her because they want to hear her say she wants to be a lawyer. She wants to be this. She wants to they feel like their status, their family status is higher than that demeaning profession. Do you understand? So people would look down on you. One of the ways to keep you relevant in the profession is to ensure that you are creative and that you are evolving.
Yeah.
In the ever revolving world of education, you should not be static. You've chosen to be in the science. Can you pick a unique selling point? Can you put yourself out there and can you tell the world what you are doing? Because trust me, among the thousands of noise you are hearing out there, there are still people looking out for very, very good and excellent driven teachers that will pay you
and they will pay.
They will pay you well. They will pay you handsomely. They will pay you beautifully. But the first thing is you need to shut that noise. Know your strong why. Position yourself and grow. Do you understand? Yes. It doesn't. Even if you are in school, you are on campus, you can look out, ask yourself, what is the big picture after now? Where do I see myself? What can I do to solve? To be like you're bringing in a solution. It is your solution that makes people come to you. I learned that you are a reading interventionist to help people who are struggling with reading read. My child is 8 years; he's still struggling with read. And you have track record. Those things you think you are doing as joke, volunteer. Interest in a child, help the child. It's already part of your portfolio. In the last 3 months, I've been able to help 5 children go from 20%. What's it called? 20% to 80% mastery of reading. Do you understand? Your niche is maths. You've been able to help children who have phobia for mathematics or who are struggling with mathematics go from 40% to 70% in less than 4 weeks. See, it is results that matter. I want to see that this thing that this person has on the paper tallies with what is online. Some people feel like I don't want my village people to catch me. I don't want to put I'm just starting life. I don't want them to know what I'm doing. I just want to be quiet. So the way to go global is your social media platforms. What people here get there, they know. You see that? She's teaching. You can get educational toys, learning resources from her, or she's doing something that relates to learning, that relates to teaching, that relates to child development. It is just around education. Your results may just not come. It will not come in a day. It is just going to be accumulated effort of you as a result of your no give up spirit have been able to go from a teacher who had zero knowledge to even a teacher trainer today. Yes, I've been able to navigate through to build businesses around the teaching profession. We have teachers who help to teach children who work. They're like my team of teachers who work with my team. They teach children and then they get paid. Like that fulfillment of, I understand teachers' pain of getting paid. So when I have the opportunity to employ one, I try as much as possible to be sure that empathy is put to play and I'm putting smile on another person's face, right? I've been able to build a brand where I sell educational toys, learning resources. We help you set up your children play area at home, at school. You run a crèche, we do that. We help you set up play areas for children. You have a child, maybe a dyslexic child. You have a special child. I can recommend you learning resources that suits that learner, right? Because I also I'm wrapping up my program as a special needs educator, a professional diploma in special needs education, right? That's also like a result. So results cannot be said in a day. The fulfillment of meeting students that I've taught, seeing somebody almost a full grown man prostrating on the
that is like one of most results that has been in time. That's what all teachers have always hold on to.
These impacts have a way to shape on their lives too. When we sit with them, or you just random just man, you don't know what you did for me that period. And as a person, you may have one teacher that also invested in you. When I was in primary school, there was a time I don't know what happened, but I just went from a high flying learner to a very I was struggling. This teacher, I don't know if I can recognize her today or if she's even still alive. we call her Miss Felicia then, she would call me, she would talk to me, she would encourage me, she would explain. No. So I know a number of teachers who have my primary school level, secondary school level, who have invested into me. Yes, who have invested into me. And I know what it means to invest into learners, to invest into children. So that's joy and fulfillment that comes from impact, right? And of course, result is in the money too. Let's not leave that aside. Yes, let's not leave that aside. I was not here before, but having to master a skill to an extent whereby your results now speak, your client to say, okay, I have a cousin who is in the UK and I want you to teach them. Yeah, so I've been able to work with learners even outside the shore of Nigeria, in UK, in Texas, in Brazil, in Canada. It is a fulfilling feeling. It's a feeling that brings beyond the shores, right? So a lot of results actually. Teachers award, I've been able to train teachers and I'm still training teachers, and trust me, the journey never ends. We're still learning, we're still going to get better. They lied to you when they told you that teachers reward is in heaven. I don't they chop my own. The truth is, it's not too late to begin. It's not too late. I've met a mentee in her 50s. She's teaching. Well, okay, she enrolled for my course. I have a course for teachers, how they can scale up from where they are right now to, becoming globally relevant. She came in January, and during one of our clarity calls, I asked, so I'm even dealing with very, very, the online world will not make you see face. After getting these details, like this woman, from between January and now, I think last month, she told me that she landed her first foreign job to teach children. For 2 children, they wanted to pay her 160K. Just online. Now, it made me look at age as age is not a limiting factor. It's the mind. It's the mind. Yes, it's the mind. The mindset. It's the mind. Yes. So it's regardless of your age, it is the interest to grow. The interest to grow is just everything. So I'm just saying this, that you should not say, God has done it for you now. Are you not just young? How old are you? It's because you are young. You are not married. That is why. Some of us got married. I understand that. That's why I said everyone have their peculiar journey, their unique journey. I can't compare mine to yours, but trust me, it is not too late to start. That is just what I want to stress. It's not too late to start.
So we said a lot of things. Have interest, mindset, have a strong why, have purpose, know why you're doing it. I think another thing is so many people then just went into education like just to. I feel like that was the fastest profession to just dash into.
Yes, so somebody finishes SSC. Somebody finishes SSC, go and teach there. Somebody finishes university and has not gotten it. Go and manage teaching.
So I think that is where the issue came up from. But it means that there are still people who still have interest in it. And if you are that person, you're part of those people that have interest in it. But if you've not been seeing the results, change your mindset. Change your mindset. Position yourself. And please have people you're looking up to, like our dear Miss Patience, that you can always go to for 1 or 2 advice. And like you said, she has a course for teachers that want to upskill. Please, you can always put in the comment section if you're interested in the course. You want to upskill, you want to be landing UK job. You want to be paid, euros and dollars, and you want your salary to go from 30K to 50K to 100K and 200K and above. I know some teachers that have never smelt 50K as a salary. You can pinpoint them, and they've been working for years, and they've never smelled like 50K as a salary. I mean, that's what we can change. That's what we can change. So thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to be here.
My thank you is not enough. My thank you is not enough to have a global lady sitting down with me. My thank you is not enough. Thank you so much for. I mean, it's for the things you earn right now. You have somebody pay for it, though. So be happy that you.
It's okay. It's a pleasure, and you are doing a very fantastic work here.
Yes,
come on, at least this is more like a clarity to. It gives clarity. It gives hope to people who could be discouraged. People who need 1 or 2 support to find their path. Trust me, some people, if they got to hear this kind of stories pretty early in their life, it will shift their path. It will help them not. They will not make that mistake of doing this merry-go-round, right? So it's just like a clarity for people out there, for young ones out there, and an encouragement for people in the profession who are almost giving up. The land is green. People give birth every day. People give birth every day, and you want to be that teacher who people look at and go, I just feel like I should. Like when you see me, that's my goal. When you see me, you want to give birth and give me your child. Now, I want you to teach my child. Like that's just it. And you and I, we teachers out there, we can redefine teaching. We can redefine the profession. It takes a collaborative effort. Let's make this work.
And with God on our side,
God is
the God factor. She also included that God factor. know your God, know what God wants for you. Also, some people God want them to see they are running a bay. Why are you running a
Uncle
bay?
Jonah.
Uncle Jonah, go back to that ship. Go to that ship. You not say you should go.
Shut your ears to the noise. Do not be discouraged. Rome was not built in a day.
Oh.
And the result you want to get is not a walk in the park. It will cost you your sleep. It will cost you effort.
Yes.
It will cost you a lot of ridicule. It's part of it, but trust me, you will definitely get there. I'm waiting for you.
Definitely get there. We're
I
waiting
will
for
see
you.
at the
We are
top.
waiting for you. We're going to see at the top. Yeah. Notes, we're going to wrap it up. So we come your way next time. And that special somebody. Keep soaring and keep growing. I mean, growing a dead man that is not growing. So living. Let's keep growing. Peace out.
Bye. Bye.